And that is basically their myopic view on owning the libs, as they call it. They love to own the libs. To the extent that they have one goal, owning the libs seems to be that goal.
But was it worth it? That find out phase is getting real for a lot of Trump supporters just about now. Hi, my name is Suri Crowe, and you're watching the MeidasTouch Network. Let's get into it.
Jennifer Piggott voted for Trump in the November election. Then in February, she was fired from her civil service job.
Absolutely. I feel a little bit betrayed.
She was among more than 125 people dismissed last month from the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service in Parkersburg, West Virginia.
There's always that back and forth conversation now. It's like, you knew this was coming, but we didn't. Like, nobody that I've talked to understood the devastation that having this administration in office would do to our lives.
No kings!
What? The white Christian conservatives didn't think that Trump's policies would impact them negatively? Just the black and brown folks, the queer folks, especially the drag queens, and the naughty woke women, I suppose, like me. But alas, Trump's cruelty knows no bounds unless you're a billionaire and, of course, preferably a white male billionaire and a straight one, although he did let Scott Bessent into his cabinet. But the reality is the Trump regime's policies are actually hurting people in Republican states far more than they are in blue states. Trump's trade and tariff wars are going to hit red America far worse than in blue states. Canada has already targeted Trump-supporting states with its ban on American products because, God bless them, they don't want to punish states that did not support this fascist monster. So the millions of people voting to stick it to the libs, that plan is backfiring big time.
To the extent that they have one goal, owning the libs seems to be that goal. And by that, they mean doing anything they can to offend, humiliate, or destroy things that anyone left of Sean Hannity may possibly care about. I mean, Donald Trump visited the Kennedy Center for a board meeting today after seizing control of it and making himself the new chair. What a good use of time for a president. The Kennedy Center now, I think all of you probably know what it is, but it's been an arts institution here in Washington, D.C. for over 50 years. Lots of people perform there, all sorts. They're not political. But to Trump, it was too woke and needed to be straightened out. So yes, to own the libs, Trump is basically destroying the Kennedy Center. People are refusing to perform there anymore. And it's exactly the same thinking when it comes to the way he and Elon Musk are gutting the federal government. I mean, take NOAA, which is the agency responsible for things like forecasting our weather and tracking climate trends and responding to extreme weather events. Most people accurately see it as an apolitical tool for knowing what the weather is going to be outside, which, hey, we all rely on. Place where a bunch of science nerds prepare for natural disasters. That's what happens in that building. But Project 2025 labeled it as, quote, one of the main drivers of the climate change alarm industry. Think about how absurd that statement is. This is an agency made up of scientists who are literally measuring and predicting weather patterns, some of which are caused by, yes, the climate crisis, and they're destroying that agency. That's the goal. That's front and center for the Trump team. That's what they're trying to do. Now, over the past few weeks, the Trump administration has slashed hundreds of NOAA staff, including people responsible for producing critical weather forecasts and maintaining radar systems, and they're not done. The agency is tasked with cutting an additional 1,000 jobs, which means 10% of its workforce. See, to Donald Trump and his buddy Elon Musk, NOAA is just another woke agency that stirs up climate hysteria. And so it's one of the agencies that has found itself in their crosshairs. But here's the thing. When devastating tornadoes swept across the country this week, it actually wasn't coastal Democrats in their path at all. It was states like Mississippi and Arkansas and Alabama and Missouri, states that would definitely not self-identify as woke in any way, and states that would definitely benefit from a fully operational and fully staffed and fully funded NOAA. What about FEMA, which provides essential tools for cleaning up and rebuilding after devastating storms, like the ones we also saw last week and this week? Trump and Elon Musk claim the agency is a political tool wielded by Democrats during disasters. I don't even know what they mean by that exactly. So guess what they've done? They've cut jobs there too. And Trump has even mused about shutting it down altogether. That's how they're owning the libs, I guess, right? I mean, that's their approach. But guess which states get the most recovery funding from FEMA and the Department of Housing and Urban Development? Well, states like Louisiana and Florida and Texas. Not exactly target Democratic states, those ones typically. Notice the theme here? See, the things they've already done and things they're planning to do actually hurt red states more than blue states. They're trying to own the libs, but they're actually hurting Trump voters. The people they are hurting the most are in the very states that voted to put Trump in the White House.
Look, I am an empath by nature, but I am finding it harder and harder by the day to feel sorry for people who hate other people so much that they voted to take away NOAA, the National Weather Service, Medicaid, Medicare, clean water, safely inspected food, preventable yet deadly diseases, and their own employment.
Told that you can't go to work anymore because you haven't been there for a year is just kind of horrible, you know. The Taxpayer Advocate Service is already undermanned as it is. And, you know, when the case advocates are averaging over 120 cases per person and you're letting everybody go, how does that help the taxpayer?
Did you support President Trump in the last election?
Honestly, yeah, I did. I thought, you know, he would be someone that would, you know, because he talked a lot about taking care of the military, taking care of the veterans, taking care of the people that put him in office, and it just hasn't happened. So if I could go back in time, I would have voted for, you know, Vice President Harris in a heartbeat.
I mean, at least that guy admits it. Many of them won't. But what gets me is how could you possibly think that Trump was good for working taxpayers? All Republicans have talked about for years now is getting rid of the IRS so that rich people can get away with tax evasion, so that they can continue to rig the system. And this guy worked for the IRS? I mean, hello? And Trump is a 5-time draft-dodging coward who colludes with Putin, has called Gold Star families and their lost ones suckers and losers, and called my home senator, the late, great Senator John McCain, a loser. But they think that he gives a shit about veterans? Like, do you have a brain? Have you been living under a rock?
Always that back and forth conversation now. It's like, you knew this was coming, but we didn't. Like, nobody that I've talked to understood the devastation that having this administration in office would do to our lives.
You know, what I would love to ask her is when she says wrecking people's lives, was she okay with Trump's policies wrecking other people's lives or just not hers? Seriously. Because take a look at what's happening in Nebraska, another ruby red state that voted hard for Trump and is now at risk of going bankrupt because they voted to deport their labor force, literally thousands of migrant workers who do the majority of the hard labor in Nebraska. And Trump also shut off the millions and millions of dollars in farmer subsidies that those farmers use to pay their bills. Funny how that works, isn't it? They're totally fine with taking millions and millions of dollars in farm subsidies. This is so typical of Republicans. Yet they vote against SNAP benefits. They vote against free school lunches for families that need them. The cruelty. And then now they're at risk of going bankrupt because they are going to lose their own farmer subsidies. As this person posted, I think on TikTok, their racism was a priority over their livelihood. And now it's coming back to smack them in the face. You know, I guess I'll end on this one. This is maybe a glimmer of hope from Tiara. She wrote, "This is the first time I'm admitting this. I made a mistake in November. I feel sick. I hear you. I see you, and you can have a conversation with me. I'm embarrassed and regret my vote. I'm truly sorry I allowed wool over my eyes versus seeing reality. I fully admit I got caught up in MAGA. I've been a Republican my entire life, but I cannot stand for the insanity that has unraveled since he's been sworn in. What he has said about Gaza and Ukraine, heartbreaking. Him bowing to Elon and Putin, I've lost sleep. I have immense regret. I support and understand your words." Well, God bless her. That's one of the few people I've seen who seems to be truly remorseful. And I especially applaud her for mentioning Gaza and Ukraine. But the bottom line for the majority of MAGA voters is their hatred and their racism. I have seen it firsthand. And of course they don't admit it. I mean, Donald Trump would never admit that he's a racist when he is a textbook white supremacist. I mean, the dude is co-operating this country with a Sig Heiling white supremacist Nazi. I mean, Donald Trump is as white supremacist and racist as it gets. But now the proverbial avian-ridden chickens are coming home to roost with these hateful people known as MAGA, and they don't like it. They don't like it. And they don't even know what DEI is. They really don't, because they have been so brainwashed by people like Laura Ingraham and Sean Hannity and Jesse Waters that their brains are smooth as silk. Like they don't have any thinking skills. And I hate to be this harsh, but we have to stop coddling these people, because now they're crying, I'm going to lose my farm. I'm going to lose my Medicaid. Boo-hoo, don't you feel sorry for me? No, I actually don't. I don't feel sorry for you at all, because you had 10 years to figure out how this was going to go. We told you. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, everyone got up there and told you how this was going to go, and gave you plans and policies of how your life could be markedly better if you voted with the Democrats. And then lastly, I'll end on this. The truth is that the group that has benefited most from DEI is white women. White women. And yet they continue to just smack themselves in the face by voting with Republicans. Yeah, it's pretty unfucking believable at this point. So that's where we are. MAGA continues to find out as their homes are blown away by hurricanes and tornadoes that they will probably have fewer and fewer warnings about, because Trump will continue to gut the National Weather Service and NOAA. Say goodbye to your weather warnings and everything else. You voted for this. And unfortunately, the rest of us now have to live with your stupid decision. I hope you're waking up right about now, because it's going to be a while before we get out of this nightmare. Anyway, my name is Suri Crowe. Thank you for watching. Spread the word. I hope your kinfolk are realizing that the leopards really are eating your face now. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Follow me on Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok, and I will see you back here soon. Peace.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.